Started out like every kid my age at 14 as a volunteer fireman. I actually started with Anderson City Fire in their Explorer program, and then I got hooked up with Chief Randy Bratcher, who just recently retired. He got me in at Williford Fire Department, and I've actually been in there ever since. We're going on 17 years of fire service. I actually got hooked up with Matthew Littleton, who was the Deputy Director of Emergency Management at the time. And he offered me a part-time job doing some install work, some radio work for the sheriff's office. Kind of how I got my foot in the door with the sheriff's office. I always really wanted to steer towards emergency management. I looked at Matthew Littleton, I looked at his job, and I was like, I want to do that one day. You know, that's what I want to do. If it was something dangerous, I like doing it. I'm a rescue diver. I climb towers. I do high-angle rescue, low-angle rescue. I dabble in confined space. Whew. That's never fun. Mostly we're getting dogs out of wells for confined space. I fly on the helicopter. I'm a TFO and also a student pilot for the helicopter. I'm a drone Part 107 pilot. I'm a hazmat technician. Pretty much if it can kill you and we can help somebody, I pretty much jump in and do that. I mean, pretty much all firefighters are that way. Who is crazy enough to go into a burning building that could collapse at any second on you? You got to have that drive, and that there's fear involved, don't get me wrong, but you have to be able to kind of hone that in and go into where you need to go and just take care of what you need to take care of. And I've always wanted to be that guy that just, I'm going to go in. We'll figure it out when we get there. Let's go in, let's get the job done. Back in the career section, I moved into the Technology Services Department, which was what Matthew had. There was a big changeover when Sheriff McBride came in, and with that changeover, a full-time position came open for the radio department. And so I moved into that full-time position, not knowing where it would lead me, but they needed the help. I was certified in everything I needed to be certified in to take care of the 911 center technology-wise. Probably best decision I've made. I left Anderson City Fire Department, which was very difficult to do because I really thought that I was going to go through the ranks at Anderson City Fire Department and just work my way up and just stay there and retire from there. But God had different plans for me. He opened up some doors, and then a few years later, the deputy director position came open for emergency management. I was deputy director for almost 3 years, and back in November, I was offered the job of director because Director Baker is taking a larger position over at the jail, at the detention center. You know, this is something I've always wanted to do. I'm honored to have been offered the job. Myself and my staff here, we can lead this county in the direction we need to go. Everything's going towards technological advances from, you know, the fire trucks we were driving originally. Now there's computers in the fire truck. It'll tell on you if you didn't wear your seatbelt. Used to, we would set up a ladder truck. We would be on the top of the ladder truck and actually, you know, focus in where the nozzle needs to be. Now we can put a drone up and be on the ground and move the stream for the ladder truck to where it needs to go. If we had a missing person and we were searching for a missing person, it was boots on the ground, helicopter in the air, and searching. It takes a little while for the helicopter to get up. Now, me and 3 other deputies keep a drone in the back of our vehicles, throw the drone up, we've got eyes in the sky in 2 minutes. So we have now 3 ROVs in the county, which is remote operated vehicles. They're underwater drones. They can go up to 330 feet deep, and they've got claws on them. The newest one, the technical rescue team purchased, it's got a sonar on the bottom that actually keeps itself off the bottom of the lake so that we don't have to worry about getting tangled up too much. It's got a lot of extra features. But something that we would normally send a diver down to search a cove, now we can send an ROV down and program it to search the cove for us. Emergency management is pretty much a jack of all trades. We have to mold, we have to figure out how to work in every emergency. We sit in the middle of fire law, EMS, public works, county administration, municipality administration, schools. We're kind of the middle piece that hooks everything together. We went from just doing statistical data for all the municipalities and the counties and the fire departments, EMS, law enforcement, to opening a vaccine clinic for first responders, to opening up a testing site for first responders. We're a conduit for information. We are constantly in contact with the National Weather Service Greenville-Spartanburg office. We're on a chat with them. I also call them and talk to them, and they send us updates regularly when significant events are coming in, like a winter weather storm. When that happens, we have to disseminate that information. We typically do that over email. We send it to our municipal leaders, our county leaders, and fire and EMS leaders, law enforcement as well. Then we have to start planning. There's certain things that we cannot shut down. The 911 center cannot shut down. We have to continue to get staff there. Ice is one of my worst enemies when we come to this. You get ice on power lines, ice on tree limbs, and then you tie in 25 to 30 mile per hour winds. That's easily branches falling on limbs, power lines coming down, and now we have this issue of power outage during a cold snap. So you can't leave people, in their homes by themselves with no way to heat. While I encourage everyone to plan ahead and have a plan if your power goes out during the freezing cold, have somewhere to go, have another family household member to go to. Not everybody has that. So we work with the Salvation Army, we work with American Red Cross, we work with a lot of VOAS, which is Volunteer Organization Assistance During Disasters, multiple groups that we work with to set up shelters. We work with local churches, try to get them to set up shelters when we can. And we've got a lot of organizations in Anderson County that are great at that. If it becomes larger than what the volunteer organizations can handle, at that point we move forward and set up Civic Center as a site. We've got remote sites in Powdersville and other areas of Anderson County that we can set up. But that's our last resort. We try to use local first. Start local, end local. Because no one is going to care about you more than your local community. We respond during the event and we help during the event, but after it is a long recovery process. So our job is preparedness, response, and recovery. Recovery is where we will work with FEMA, we'll work with the South Carolina State EMD, and we work to get money back into Anderson County to rebuild. We are a reception center site. Actually, we have 4 reception center sites in Anderson County for Oconee Nuclear Facility. And it's called the FNF program, Fixed Nuclear Facility. And we have to do radiological emergency preparedness, working with the Anderson County Hazmat team and the other counties that actually work with Oconee Nuclear. We have to, every 2 years, we do an exercise at one of those centers. So we've got 4 centers, so we spread it out to where each center gets tested every 8 years. What happens is in an event that something happens in Oconee, we get residents from there. They actually come here. We will check them with radiological monitoring. They go through a process for their vehicles to be checked and for themselves to be checked, and even pets if there's pets that potentially have radiological material on them. They can either go into our reception center and hang out there until they find a place to go, or if they're clean, they can actually sign the paperwork, get out of there. That is a big part that a lot of people have no idea that even happens in Anderson County, is the Fixed Nuclear Facility program. And Anderson County Emergency Management heads that up. That is a big collaborative effort. In the event that this actually does set up, we'll use local fire departments, we use the hazmat team, and law enforcement, pretty much all hands on deck to make that happen. But we do have multiple plans in place, and we have to exercise those plans on a regular basis. We have quarterly meetings with Duke Energy and the South Carolina State EMD just for the Fixed Nuclear Facility program, just to make sure we're still on the same page, we're still doing the correct things, and that all our T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and we're ready in the event that it actually happens. So we have something called a hazard mitigation plan. It is on our website. We are in the process of actually revamping that, because the end of 2023 we have to send that back into FEMA. It's a FEMA approved plan. The only way we can actually get that, get any reimbursement from FEMA is to have that plan in place. You can find out about the LEPC, which is the Local Emergency Planning Committee. One of the biggest things you can find in our website is how to be prepared yourself. If you are prepared yourself, you help us. It allows us to help others that may not be able to be as prepared. So just think about stuff. Think about, what happens if a tornado comes through our town and we lose power for 5 or 6 days. What do you need in your house to take care of that? Bottled water, some extra food, some food that's not going to expire, something that you can survive off of. I highly recommend everybody doing a survival pack. You can go to ready.gov or you can go to our website, emd.andersonsheriff.org. In the past, we've done preparedness classes. COVID's kind of dampened that right now. We are looking forward to hopefully COVID weaning off a little bit and us starting preparedness classes again, because I love getting the community involved. We love to, really hit that preparedness part. That way the response and the recovery is a lot easier in the end for everybody, for the whole community. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Nextdoor. And if we have an event like weather, we'll send out what the National Weather Service is sending us. On top of that, we'll send out tips. I think the last one we sent out was about space heaters in your house. What's the safest way to use a space heater in the house? Do you have the correct space heater? If we have a missing person, if we have something going on, we'll actually push that out over our social media, and we push it out over something called Code Red. Code Red, or some people call it Reverse 911, is a big thing. The way it works is I can draw a map and send out a Reverse 911 or a Code Red alert, and it'll go to all the house phones. And it'll ring a house phone. It'll give you the message we need to give you if we're looking for a missing person, or if it's a weather warning, or if it's just something that you need to know emergency. You can get that. Saying that, since it goes to house phones, we have it set up to where you can get it to your cell phone. Those Code Red alerts, I highly recommend everybody in Anderson County to sign up for them. That's our way of communicating to you real time, extremely fast. As soon as I hit the send button on that, it's going to your phone. So we highly recommend everybody doing that. You can sign up for your alert level. If you just want alerts coming from us, you don't have to sign up for any weather alert. But you can also sign up for weather warnings. It does not do weather watches, but it does do weather warnings. So if there's a tornado warning in your area, a winter storm warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, you can sign up for those, and you can sign up for different levels, and just really highly recommend everybody doing that. I knew one day it would come that I would be filling out paperwork, but I didn't think it would come so soon. Saying that, I am still in the response mode. I do my job here. I do everything I can, but I still get out in the field. If there's a fire close to me, if there's an EMS call, I still will jump in my truck, run that EMS call, help the person, because ultimately I'm a first responder at heart. I want to help the public. Physically getting my hands on, actually helping somebody, making somebody's worst day a little bit better. It really, that's what really touches my heart. But with emergency management, we help an entire community get through maybe some of their worst time. And the first responders do the same thing. They're hand in hand with us, helping the entire community. But with emergency management, we do that every day. As a first responder, we help individuals at an individual incident, and that's one part of the big piece. But the emergency management section actually gets to overcompass and look at everything at the same time. So we're looking at what law enforcement's doing on this scene, what's fire's doing on this scene, what's EMS. We're looking at everything and trying to organize that to where we've got enough assets in different places during a major emergency to make sure we're helping everybody at the same time. I've went to Oconee during the tornadoes. There was limits of we physically couldn't get into the people. They called and said, "Hey man, can you get up here with a drone?" And that was our way of actually getting in, communicating, finding out, what's still there. Who do we need to get to first? When they get these trees out of the road, where do they need to turn? Where do they need to go to help the most people, to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people? And that goes back to that technology part, having those abilities, and having those relationships with the different counties, with the agencies. That's what makes a difference. All the fire chiefs, all the municipal chiefs, the mayors, managers, county administration, the sheriff, if they operate in Anderson County, at some point we deal with them on a regular basis. We will talk to them on a regular basis. We keep those relationships in place. That way, if something happens in Pendleton right now, it's as easy as calling the Pendleton police chief and saying, hey man, we've got this going on, what can I do to help you? And having that relationship beforehand, that's what's vital, because I can make that phone call and he immediately will say, hey, I need this, this, and this, and he knows he's got it.